Hey, event marketers. I hope you're enjoying Activate so far. I'm Millie Griffiths, and today I'm joined by the lovely Emma Stratton, the founder of Punchy, which is a consulting and training firm that helps fast growing B2B tech companies win on positioning and messaging, and author of Make It Punchy. So, hi, Emma. Thank you for joining us today.
Hey, Millie, it's great to be here. Hello, everyone who's watching.
And Emma, you recently obviously wrote Make It Punchy, and I know that the marketing team at Gleanin have been raving about the book. Why is simple messaging so important for marketers today?
Yeah, I mean, there's just so much noise in the market. There's so much competition, and we are marketing so many complicated technology solutions that, buyers are really getting overwhelmed. Also, people have shorter attention spans these days, I think, which we all know. And so when you have long, rambling, kind of unfocused messaging that's all about the tech, people gloss over and keep moving. If you want to really get people's attention in the crowd and draw them in, you need that really simple message that encapsulates what your buyer cares about and conveys it really quickly and effectively.
And I mean, over 5,000 event marketers, Emma, will be watching Activate today. And most of the audience here is probably responsible for writing the messaging for their events, all in an attempt to get more people to attend the events this year. What would be your top three tips for them when it comes to promotional messaging for their events?
Yeah, I think there's such a great opportunity to write great messaging to promote your events. I think, quite frankly, some companies I see maybe could do a bit more, right? So I love this question. You really want to treat your event almost like a product. When you think about product messaging, it's really your event is the product. So, three things I would suggest. The first is always lead with what matters most to your customer. I think when we write something, we often kind of think, okay, what do I want to say? What do I want to get across? But really, you want to think, what is most important to my reader? What's in it for them? What do they care about? And really use their needs to guide your message, the content, and also the hierarchy. So try not to think about what do I want to say about my event, but what do these potential attendees really need to know? What are they really going to care about? So that's the first thing that's so important. The second is to highlight your SMIT, which means single most important takeaway. So maybe you might relate. Have you ever written something and thought, oh my God, it's so long winded. I just keep rambling and it's too long and I don't know how to make it short? Hey, we've all been there. In fact, long winded messaging is kind of the default. That is where we all start. But if you can take another crack at it and think, okay, if my reader only remembered one thing about this message or one thing about this event description, what do I want that to be? When you get clear on what that idea is, then you can rewrite it so that that main idea shines and you can get rid of some of that excess wording or messaging that really doesn't support that main idea. And this is going to help your message have more impact when it's really about one clear thing rather than multiple things. And finally, I am a huge proponent of writing in plain, simple human language. To let go of all of that B2B jargon and buzzword, all those long words that end in shun, like orchestration, all those funny words that we say only in B2B tech, but we would never say in real life. And for this, I have a simple exercise, which I call Say It Like You Would at the Barbecue. The idea is you take a message that's a bit jargony, a bit corporatey, a bit dry, using those funny long words, and you think, okay, how would my reader say this at a barbecue to a smart friend, just having a chat? And this is a really quick way to help you write simple, casual, conversational language. Now, this isn't about using slang or cursing or wild writing, but it is really about writing more naturally as we speak, rather than using these kind of stilted, overly formal words, which we tend to do in B2B marketing because, quite frankly, everyone's doing it. So, those are my three: leading with what matters to your customer, highlighting your single most important takeaway, and using plain human language and run it through the say it like you would at the barbecue exercise.
I love how you really focus on how the customer interprets what you're trying to convey. And actually, I think in the chapter 6 of your new book, Make It Punchy, you state as well, get ruthless about what truly matters to your customers. So could you unpack that a little bit more for us? And perhaps what would be the most practical steps here for event marketers to think about?
Yeah, I think it might actually be easier for event marketers to get ruthless about what really matters to your customer or attendee. I think this can be harder for product teams, people marketing technology. But the idea here is to really, really focus on the most important thing to your customer or your attendee and really letting that one thing shine above the millions of other things you could say, right? I think when we market something, we could come up with a million great things to say about why someone should come to our event, but you really want to focus on kind of the core reason. So the best way to figure out what should that be is to talk to your customers. I mean, to understand them, that is the best way to really have that confidence in, hey, this is the subject my messaging is going to be about. So I think it's really important to know your customers really well. And if you have a customer that you know personally, or just a person you know in your life who represents an ideal customer, I think it can be really great to kind of picture them in your mind whenever you're writing something. And say you know someone named Claire, and she perfectly encapsulates your ideal buyer. She can be a great kind of mental guide for you as you're writing. You think, well, would Claire be interested in this? Well, would this interest Claire? Would Claire get excited about this, or is this a bit boring? And this can be a really good tool to keep you honest as you write your messaging and making sure it's very focused on what your reader cares about and not just what your own personal agenda is. And let's face it, as marketers, we do want to get certain pieces of information out and we have our own agendas and priorities, but to step out of them and think, okay, what matters to my customer and really focusing on that is the thing. So the better you know your customers, the easier that is to do.
Well, Emma, I'm delighted to say that Gleaning have donated copies of your amazing new book, Make It Punchy, as part of Activate's prize giveaway at the end of the event. So please stick around for that. But Emma, where can our audience members discover more from you?
Yeah, so I'm very vocal on LinkedIn. So just Emma Stratton underscore punchy, I think, on LinkedIn. So I share messaging insights there regularly. I also have a newsletter that comes out every 2 weeks. If you go to punchy.co/newsletter, you can get on there and get insights and tips every 2 weeks. And if you haven't read my book, I lay it all out. Everything I know is in that book, Make It Punchy, available anywhere books are sold, but especially on Amazon.
Well, thank you so much, Emma. That's all from our session today. I hope you enjoy the rest of Activate, and we'll see you all next time.